what the greatest thing about sports is? You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
Winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing. In our business, there is no second place. Either you're first or you're last.
Ain't this what they've been waiting for? You ready?
And now, the W with Walls and the Crew.
Good morning.
Where winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. On 100.1 FM.
Good morning.
And Facebook Live.
Good morning. Right back like we never left. Another Saturday morning, a Memorial Day Saturday morning with the W Show. If this is your first time checking us out, we appreciate you making us a part of your holiday weekend. Good morning, everybody. How are you guys?
We're good, man.
Yeah.
Aren't you excited The Little Mermaid is in theaters?
I am, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, I really am. Like, I'm going to see it. Good question, because yes, I am. But no, how are you guys?
Good. Solid. Excited to see The Little Mermaid.
See, I'm not the only one, Q.
I had to tap it.
Yeah, Black Girl Magic.
No, definitely. I may go see it. I feel like I'd be too old to be in the theater for it.
No, sir. But you want to take one of my kids?
No.
Okay, I'm just saying.
No.
All right.
No.
You said it with the quickness.
Yeah, like, hey, you
No. I want my own popcorn.
All right, cool. Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm excited to see that. You guys have any plans for this weekend?
Man, it's a long holiday weekend for me.
Yeah.
Working and stuff.
Yeah.
I get out on the lake, be on some water. I feel like that's only fitting.
Nice. I'm just gonna hang out wherever I can, find something to eat.
And I'll be mixing on 107 this weekend too. So that'll be fun.
Hey.
Nice. Heck yeah, tune in for that. We got a lot to talk about today. Of course, the Chiefs, they started OTAs, and a bunch of other NFL teams did as well. But Patrick Mahomes, he says the value of OTAs is about building relationships. So we'll dive into that. Devontae Adams, the Raiders and the Chiefs are facing a lawsuit from a worker over wide receivers post-game shove. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah.
We'll replay the video and talk about that later on.
Poppy Kosh.
LeBron James says he will consider retirement this offseason. A lot of money if he does that.
Cap.
Yep. Carmelo Anthony, he announced he's retiring from the NBA after 19 seasons. I'm excited to talk about that. I like Melo. And coming up in about 30 minutes, we'll have our sneakers of the week during our Hate It or Love It segment. Let's get to today's headlines.
And now, here are the biggest sports headlines from this week. We bring them to you every Saturday morning on the W with Walls and the Crew on 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Patrick Mahomes says the value of OTAs is about building relationships. Steve, you got a chance to talk to Patrick earlier this week about building those relationships. Let's hear y'all's conversation first.
Guys, we talk about building relationships. We hear about superstar players in different sports, like Michael Jordan. He wasn't really approachable. That's what other guys have said. You try to make it a point to go and talk to your other teammates on the team.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I grew up in a locker room, so I got to see kind of both sides of it. And I definitely the guys that were kind of more relationship guys that would hang out with even me or hang out with other guys, I knew that I wanted to be like them when I grew up. And so I got to see it from both perspectives, and I knew if I ever got in this position, I wanted to be the guy that's shooting in the locker room and doing whatever it is, hanging out with guys outside the building. Don't tell Veach about the shooting part, but hanging out with guys outside the facility, if that's at soccer games or baseball games or anything like that. And so I think that's part of the culture that I got brought into here. And it's really cool because then you get to go out there when you have success, you get to go to parade, and it's guys that you truly enjoy being around and having success with.
Yeah, I wanted to find out, because he talked about, the building relationships part and OTAs. Every year you get a bunch of new faces, right? So I just wanted to find out, is it more organic for him, or, does he make an actual point to go and say, hey, hi, I'm Patrick Mahomes, or is it just, I just something I got to do and kind of going through the motions? Because realistically, he could be standoffish. Like, we've heard other players in different leagues talk about like, hey, Michael Jordan. We watched The Last Dance. Like talk about Michael Jordan not being personable, not being a great teammate. However, his will to win overrode everything else. Like he didn't want to be friends. And we've heard about other players in different leagues too. So that's why I wanted to find out about it, because he brought up the relationship part. And I think that is why teams have so much success, especially the Chiefs, because we hear about them hanging out so much, outside of just one Arrowhead Drive.
No, that's facts. I remember back when Herm was the coach. A lot of players back then didn't get along.
Yeah,
it wasn't the most harmonious locker room, and I think that was a couple of 2-14 teams. So yeah, I mean that chemistry obviously has to gel, and that's really with any team.
And then it kind of parlays into guys actually showing up for OTAs because it's optional, right? Like they don't have to show up. And so you get star players like Travis Kelce, heck, Patrick Mahomes going 100, right? Like they don't have to do that, but they do. And it just that goes into the whole relationship, building part of it.
Yeah.
And I think it definitely ties into success, because you think about when you have a good relationship with the coach, like you want to perform for them, you enjoy working hard for them. So having that relationship off the field, I think, makes a whole lot of difference. Then you want to be successful for the guy next to you because you're homies. You don't want to disappoint your friends and your people around you. So I think it definitely shows, especially with the Chiefs lately, on how much it plays.
And the only person that wasn't there is Chris Jones. So, and I mean, it's optional, so I think people sometimes read into, you get these Monday morning quarterbacks that were on the water cooler. It's like, oh, well, Chris Jones, he wants more money. These people don't know.
Looking for the scoop.
Yeah, so it is what it is. I think Chris is the ultimate team guy. I can remember back, it was 2019. He didn't have to show up because he was trying to get that contract, and he didn't have to show up for training camp, and he did. So, I mean, yes, people want to get paid. Yes, they do, but I mean, they're there, they're out there. So even though they don't have to, so that's, I think, goes into the whole, building relationships part of it.
And he probably has his own workout regimen
in Miami.
And on the opposite side, how much do you guys think it affects the individual player, the team, when people don't show up? Even the big time players, does it really impact them that much?
I think with social media being the way that it is, and a lot of these players, people have the access, kind of like a behind the curtain type deal with all of the star players. You're able to see what they're doing. So I think them putting that out there shows that, hey, we're still working. We may not be with the team, but we're still working, and I will show up on game day.
Yeah, and I think that's the type of player a lot of teams look for. You're not looking for what's the Cardinals quarterback that had to be Kyler Murray? He had to be what was he put on, like mandatory study time and stuff like that? I mean, it's a double-edged sword, because sometimes you can be just that good, that you really don't need that. But I mean, this is a league now where we're starting to see, talent turn over pretty fast.
Yeah.
And I would guess maybe that the average playing time is cut down from 3 years. I need to see the stats on that, but you just see a lot more younger talent being able to come in, but then we also see players not playing past their 30s a lot. So because what was it, like a season or two ago, we had a couple of guys that retired really early.
Yeah.
But then put their money into crypto and different things.
What was it? The what team did he play for?
I think it was
he got the Pokemon cards or something.
Oh,
he took his money and put it into Pokemon cards or some kind of cards and turned that into a few $1 million.
Yeah. No, but even looking at that, I think for some players, just even the competition, you want to be there.
Yeah.
You want to be, next to the guys that you're going to be with all season. So it's I mean, it's a toss up because defensively, I don't know how important OTAs would be.
Right.
Offensively, especially with the specialty players, you need that timing, and especially in an offense like Andy Reid's. I mean, you want to be on time. I think if you're a receiver, you want to show Patrick that you're reliable, not only catching the ball but like running routes. Like there's a lot of different intangibles, but I mean, Chris Jones, I don't think he's missing anything significant. He's not. I mean, he hasn't fallen off as a player.
Yeah,
so.
and at the end of the day, football's football. See ball, hit ball. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So,
Do you think it builds any type of like animosity between teammates or anything like that, or do you think it's more just like that's on you?
well, because they know he's working. Like, like if it was, let's go back to when Q was talking about Kyler Murray. Like when they gave him what was it? They gave him the iPad.
Yeah, it was an iPad.
And it had nothing on it.
Yeah.
They said he's like, oh yeah, I watched the film and it was blank. It's like, oh, you did. What film did you watch? So that kind of thing, and they know and they see him. We talk about social media. They see him being, oh, well, I'm playing this game. Hit me up on Fortnite. I'm on.
Yeah.
Why aren't you studying? And then he goes out there and plays the Chiefs week 1 and they get throttled. Because he didn't go to what was it, training camp? He wasn't or no, the preseason games. He didn't play in any of the preseason games.
Yeah.
So I mean, that builds the animosity. But if you know a guy's working, and he's out there grinding day in and day out like you are, I think they're fine with it.
Now, Devontae Adams, Raiders Chiefs facing lawsuit from worker over wide receivers post-game shove. Let's refresh everyone's memory about what happened first.
Yeah, it's weird because he's not only going after Devontae Adams, but he's also going after the Chiefs, and he's also going after the league or the city. Or is it Jackson County? I think.
Possibly, yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And the guy's name is left my mind right now, but. It's crazy. They put his name out there and everything. It's like, man, you won't get another. Are you looking to get another job, or are you just looking for a payday?
Looking for a payday.
Yeah. How much could you get for that?
I don't know. I mean, possibly in the 6 figures. I just think it's just overly dramatic.
Yeah. Like, is it really worth that though?
To me, it's not.
Yeah, David Hundahl, I believe. But yeah, he said you just don't shove someone down and walk off like it didn't happen, not in real life. I'm looking for justice. So justice means money.
Okay.
I'm just wondering, like, how much is he wanting to get? I'm sure we can look up the court documents, but
was he in the wrong in any format? Like,
he wasn't. He was just coming down the tunnel. And Devontae Adams, remember, he had that. I think it was 5 catches, 121 yards or something, 2 touchdowns. The Chiefs couldn't guard him.
Yeah.
And they ended up losing. So he was pretty mad.
Yeah. He just shouldn't have been on the sideline.
That's what I'm saying. Like, maybe he should have been,
But the thing about it is, in a sense, deleted tweet, Devontae Adams was like, hey, it was my fault. I apologize. So he admitted that he was wrong.
That changes
so
things a little bit. Yeah.
Guilty.
I mean, yeah, in that position, you want to show remorse again for any potential court proceedings. But I don't know. I just still think it's overly dramatic.
Yeah, I feel like the remorse should have been enough,
but can't say that I wouldn't, my neck and my back.
I get here for a stupid foul.
Now, Nike removed Ja Morant sneakers amid latest incident. The local sheriff says Ja Morant is fine after performing wellness checks on Grizzly star, but it does seem like he's had quite a bit going on, and Nike's not having it. Steve, your thoughts on this one?
He fumbling the bag. I mean, you gotta understand, like, if you do wrong, granted, like having a firearm, it's not illegal. Like all of it was legal, but just the childish act that he did was not being responsible. And so sometimes you got to get hit over the head.
Yeah.
And and it's going where is it for a guy like Ja Morant? Where is it going to hurt him most?
In his pocket.
In his pockets.
Yeah.
So if your sneakers don't sell, it's just going to hurt you.
Yeah, he's done for, Brody. I hate that he has to keep getting hit with all of these consequences. I mean, there's probably a suspension pending right at the top of next season. I just hope he learns his lesson. Like, I mean, you can't do what you want to do at all times.
Yeah.
There's some level of accountability. I hope he's learning, because I don't want to have this conversation again in 3 months.
Yeah, and I think that's why I don't have as much sympathy for it.
Mhm.
Like, I hate to see it, but you made your own bed. Like, this is
You did.
the first time. Okay, what's the saying? The first time's a mistake, second time's on purpose.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
at this point, like, maybe the first time, okay, yeah, like, you had whatever going on, it's a slip up. But the second time, I don't feel sorry for you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and that's the same thing Adam Silver said. I mean, the first time it was, okay, we're gonna give you a slap on the wrist. But then the second time, it's like, oh, my hands are tied. I can't help you come back from this. Like, we're gonna have to, whatever the suspension is. He's lucky he didn't have David Stern. Like, really, because if you guys know, David Stern would have came with the hammer and then let the CBA, figure it out after that. He would have been done for a whole season, and then they would have had to negotiate it down from there. So yeah, he's gonna have to learn. I think it's gonna be half season ban.
Maybe not that long.
I think it's gonna be half season.
Really?
It was 8 games the first time?
8 games. Yeah. So no, I think it's gonna be half. You didn't learn,
right? And in the same season, like, we're 2 months out from the last situation. Like, this isn't even like, oh no, a year later. We're just around the corner, my guy.
And the thing too is, like, okay, you apologize, and I know that there's no like time frame of, oh, I gotta do an immediate apology. But at least when you like let it marinate a little bit, it's like you ain't remorseful.
Yeah.
It's like when you think about it, come on, man, you sitting there, and the reason they had to do a wellness check because he posted a picture of his mom, posted a picture of his dad, like, see you guys later, and then he just posted bye. Like, now you're begging for attention.
Yeah.
So
screams a bigger issue.
if you can do all that, then you could say bye. I just want to apologize. I should not have. You still haven't come out and said anything. So
messy, very messy. LeBron James says he will consider retirement this offseason. Q, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Q, what are your thoughts on this?
That's big cap.
Okay.
It's certainly big cap. We know LeBron is one. He's not retiring without a retirement tour. And then he wants to play with his son.
Yeah.
His son's hadn't been in the league yet. So, I mean, 1 + 1.
But as much as we talk about him wanting to play with his son, like, I want to know, like, the dynamic of how that's going to happen. Because, of course, typically who gets the number 1 pick or top 10 pick, the teams that are doing the worst in the league. Do we think that LeBron is going to sit around and let the Lakers just tank to try to get Bronny?
No way.
No, not going to happen.
I mean, do we think Bronny's going to be top 10 in his class?
I mean, why wouldn't he? Why so we just saying, oh, well, I'm just going. If that's the case, he should have just went to the G League. He could have just went.
What do you mean?
I mean, what I'm saying is, if being drafted didn't matter, he could have gone to the G League. He doesn't have to enter the draft. He could come in the NBA as a free agent. Or
but
go
right
undrafted.
Now he's gonna make a killing in NIL. So why jump to the G League?
If I'm Bronny, I'm staying in college for as long as I can. I'm enjoying USC life and making money. Well, I don't have no responsibilities.
But not when you know your dad's also on the last leg, close enough, the home stretch.
But then and it's kind of like what LeBron said too. It's like, that's my goal. That's not necessarily his, right? Like, so you're, and LeBron has to understand this too. Let's just say next year he's not ready.
I think that's what he was saying when he talks about that's my goal and not necessarily his.
So that's what I'm saying. So like next year, maybe he's not ready. And then LeBron putting that pressure on him of, and he man didn't even have to say it, but kids know what their parents like really want them to do deep down in
Yeah.
their hearts. Like they know it's like, oh, my dad really wants, and then reporters put the narrative out there like, oh, well, Brian wants Bronny to play with him. And if he's not good enough, he's not good enough. Like, don't put that pressure on him, but then you throw him to the wolves, and then he becomes what was his name? Sebastian Telfair? No, no, that's not good.
No,
Sure.
definitely. But I don't know. I think Bronny's gonna spend at least 2 years in college.
I do too. I really do.
You think LeBron's body is making it?
Yeah.
We talked about this on the Wednesday meeting.
Mhm.
No,
Yeah.
he's not his body. Playing the way that he's playing. No, he has to change his game and develop more into a jump shooter. He has to.
Yeah.
Little mid range, something.
He hasn't had a big injury yet. So what's the push now?
We saw his injury of his foot, a lingering foot injury for this whole season. He has to have surgery on a torn tendon in his foot this offseason. Like,
I mean, it's LeBron.
it's been a lingering issue. Once you get up in age and you get that first surgery to go under the knife, man, it's gonna be the next thing after next thing after next thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean they probably thought Black Panther was never coming back, and he did.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
No, I think LeBron has easily 3 to 4 seasons
Gotta
left.
change his game.
And I mean, whether he changes his game or not, I don't think he does. I think LeBron is going to stay on a decent pace. One, to widen the gap of that scoring title. But on top of that, not only to play with his son, but I mean just to continue his legacy. And there's not many people at the point of where he's at in the greatest players of all time in the NBA, and I think he wants to continue that. And I don't.
Hold up. You talk about legacy. I don't think Bron wants his legacy to end up like Jordan's. You know, when Jordan Wizards, that was a memory that folks really didn't want to see with MJ going to the Wizards. Like,
Yeah,
the Wizards Jordan wasn't good. We don't want to see
yeah.
Bron as, oh, I'm just hanging around just so. We don't want to see that. I don't want to see that for Bron. As much as I talk about Bron, like, I don't want to see Bron like, oh, I'm just hanging on to hang on. No, you got to still be, like he said, he's still better than 90-something% of the league.
Yeah.
He has to stay that. If he can't be that, then it's time to call it quits.
And I don't think LeBron is putting on pounds every year. Like I feel like he's trimming up every year. So I don't know. I think when we do see the Wizards Jordan type of LeBron, I think it's gonna be once Bronny is in the league.
And then
Why
it's
wait
more
that
about that and less about taking care of yourself and being on it. It's more about just enjoying the moment that he's there.
Yeah, and it ain't gonna be instant. Like, it's gonna gradually. So we're gonna see it in between. Like, he's not gonna just go from this next year gradually going, because Father Time is undefeated. So he's not gonna just go from I'm here in the NBA Western Conference Finals to now I'm down here. Like, it's not. There's gonna be that in between where he's not gonna be able to play D. He's not going to be able to play all, 82 or however many games it is. He's going to miss half of a season.
And he's still one of the fastest people on the court.
Oh, no. It's going to, you're going to see. You're going to see.
In the comments, do you think that it would be possible for them to lose Bron to go to wherever Bronny is at? Change the narrative.
But does Bron want to go to a Charlotte Hornets? Does Bron want to go to a team like that, a bad team? No, I don't think that. Again, that's becoming Wizards Jordan.
Is Bronny top 10? I mean, all of that is predicated on Bronny being the top 10 pick.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's gonna be that. I mean, I don't know if Bronny he has that ceiling. Maybe he goes in the late first round. Maybe.
Friend of the show, Luther Glover, said, I see Bron playing 2 years.
3 to 4.
3 to 4. That's a lot. That's a lot. He's 40. What is he? 38? He'll be 40, over 40.
Okay.
That's Wizards Jordan we talking.
Okay.
And then he's not like like he has a lot. His weight. You talked about him losing a lot of weight.
Mhm.
That he's still a big guy.
Yeah.
Like that's still a lot on your knees, running and jumping and doing
No,
all that. So
I
he
give you
has to
all that.
change his game.
Yeah.
He has to.
I give you all that, but also, I mean, if Jordan has a unblemished record in the finals or playoffs, however you want to put it, and LeBron does, I mean, maybe his one-up is playing better at over 40.
Yeah, and I agree with Luther. He said he's going to play next year with the put-together team squad. They bring in some guys like Kyrie, DeRozan, Levine, Buddy Hield, or Draymond, Damian Lillard, where then he would win, would be the face of the Lakers, lose Bron, where even Bronny gets drafted too. I think something like that could happen with Bron.
Well, yeah, and I think he's going to stay on these 1-and-1 contracts until he's ready to decide what he's going to do with Bronny. And we know LeBron is somewhat of a GM, so he's probably going to
Magic Johnson put together that team. Stop.
He's probably going to do a lot of colluding once Bronny is ready to declare.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so I mean I don't know. It's LeBron's league until he's until he's ready to decide otherwise.
Well, as long as John Morant keeps acting an idiot, it's gonna be Bron's league. Like, come on.
I was wondering how long it was going to take before the hate came out. There was way too much love there.
Yeah.
I was wondering how long it was going to
It
take.
only lasts so long.
Right.
Jazz and your dad said Wakanda forever.
Hey, yeah, you already know. You already know.
Say it with your chest.
You already know. Now, on the other side, Carmelo Anthony announces he is retiring from the NBA after 19 seasons. Let's check out Melo's retirement announcement.
I remember the days when I had nothing, just a ball on the court, and the dream was something more. But basketball was my outlet. My purpose was strong, my communities, the cities I represented with pride, and the fans that supported me along the way. I am forever grateful for those people and places, because they made me, Carmelo Anthony. But now the time has come for me to say goodbye. To the court where I made my name, to the game that gave me purpose and pride. With this bittersweet goodbye to the NBA, I'm excited about what the future holds for me. When people ask what I believe my legacy is, it's not my feats on the court that come to mind, nor the awards or praise, because my story has always been more than basketball. My legacy, my son, is in you. I will forever continue through you, because the time has come for you to carry this torch. So Kai, chase your dreams.
Fire.
I like that.
Yeah, he's New York through and through with the ghost face as the background music.
Yeah.
I like that.
Does he get his jersey retired in New York? Is New York retired? They were talking about retiring number 7. Should they do it?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree.
Do it.
Melo, when out of that draft class, Melo was my favorite. That 2003 draft class, Melo was by far my favorite.
Yeah. And came out with the least rings. That's tough.
Dang, you just got to drive
Shots
it in
fired.
and turn it in. Yeah, he did.
Shots fired.
I mean, he came into the class with
It
LeBron.
was just sometimes you can't help where you get drafted.
I know,
and that was it. Like, if you remember that draft class, so Denver changed up their uniform so more powder blue. The Cavs changed up their look. Miami, like that draft class was probably one of the top 5 draft classes of all time.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it was a really deep draft class, but I mean, what can you do when you're drafted in the class with LeBron?
Oh my goodness! Stop.
Not,
What we got next?
I mean,
Here he goes.
What can you do?
Now, Brittney Griner's return to court in Mercury-Sparks season opener draws historic audience. The broadcast peaked at 1 million and had an average of 683,000 viewers before. Big time. Steve, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, that's dope. I mean, it's good to see her back playing. I mean, because she could have easily walked away from the game.
Mm-hmm.
As much as she went through that time. I just think it's dope for not only women, because we talk about women's sports all the time, especially women's basketball. It's like they need something, to push them forward. And then this is just, another way to people watching as well.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I think she's just at a point in her life where a lot of her moves are really bigger than herself. Maybe she probably doesn't want to play basketball, but I mean, also being locked up for the amount of time she was, she probably definitely wants to have that type of release. I'm sure she missed the game.
You don't miss it till it's gone.
Yeah.
And I mean, when she got arrested, wasn't she on the way
she was playing overseas
to start the season? So that I think a lot this moment is a lot bigger than herself. And I think for her it's going to be more of a push to get more people into the WNBA and into the culture. I like that she's out there. I just hope that she does well, and whatever happened in that prison isn't like, any lasting effects on her.
Yeah, and I'm glad that it showed in the viewership numbers the support in the right direction
Mhm.
versus people not being supportive, thinking she's a knucklehead or whatever the story that they could have made about it. So obviously it's bringing a positive light to the game, still bringing attention, even out of something that was a negative situation. So I'm glad that people, like the audiences, people reading, paying attention to it, took it that way rather than it being a negative hit to the WNBA. Because I think it could have gone two directions for sure.
I agree.
So Tom Brady reaches agreement to buy ownership stake in the Raiders. Steve, your thoughts on this?
It's interesting because we thought Tom was gonna ride off into the sun. We knew he was gonna do some things as far as broadcast and TV 12. I thought he was gonna do more with that, but to be bought into wow, I didn't think the Raiders were for sale. How much money does it take to buy into a team?
Well, I mean, I don't think they're for sale, but I mean, they're in Las Vegas. But that's a city that you need a lot of investment to bring the eyes and attention to that team to not be in the red every year.
Yeah, but I think it's more of a name recognition thing too.
I mean, that too. I think he brings a certain quality to that team with his investment, with his name. But I think I'm interested to see what his role is in ownership. Like, yes, it's a minority stake in the Raiders and also the Las Vegas Aces that he put into. So I'm just interested to see how his presence is around Vegas. I don't think anybody sees Tom Brady as the Vegas guy. Like, I see that as Gronk more than anything. Like, Tom Brady, I think he would be in a shack in the mountains somewhere.
It's gonna be interesting too. Of course, he's just a third NFL player to own, be an owner, become an owner. But I'm wondering, how's the broadcast and being an owner gonna work? That has never been done.
Unbiased.
I thought he turned down the broadcast deal.
Oh, they offered him what, $18 million or something crazy like that,
and he took it.
From what I understand. So how's that gonna work? What if they give him a broadcast? You got Raiders Chiefs, Christmas Day.
Yeah, I don't think they do that.
I'm just saying, how do you become unbiased?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they do that though. It's
talking about your team getting throttled.
It's several enough broadcasts.
On that note, we're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we'll discuss EA Sports. Keep it locked in. This is the W Show. We'll be right back.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Come spin with us, Kansas City. KC WeSpin 360 is the coolest 360 video spinner experience for events. KC WeSpin 360 is taking it to the next level. The 360 video spinner platform rental will be the life of the party. Everyone will be talking about their 360 video experience while bragging about it on their social media pages. The captivating slow motion and reverse effects will have your guests feeling like celebrities. The KC WeSpin 360 video spinner can capture slow-mo videos, GIFs, and boomerangs from every angle. Specializing in corporate events, weddings, social gatherings, bar bat mitzvahs, school events, and fundraisers, KC WeSpin 360 can be found online at kcwespin360.com. Come spin with us, Kansas City.
FPS Security is here to secure Greater KC protection where you need them most. Social events, birthday parties, corporate events, weddings, small businesses, and more. Call FPS Security at 816-379-3600 or visit fpssecuritykc.com. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Reliable, fast, and professional service.
Football fans, you can't spell gate without Gates, and great tailgates start with Gates sauces and seasonings. Named synonymous with mouth-watering tailgates. When you make your list of tailgate essentials, add Gates sauces and seasonings to that list. Spice up your tailgate experience with that unmistakable great taste. Available in 4 tantalizing flavors: classic, sweet, mild, and hot. Find it at your local grocer, and if you don't see it, ask for it. Visit GatesBarbecue.com to purchase any of the great sauces and seasonings. Great tailgates start with Gates.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Remember to interact with our show. Use hashtag Talk About It. Message us, and we'll talk about whatever topic you want.
Okay, Roger got us rocking this morning. Look at him, Brady B.
EA Sports to allow FBS players to opt into a new college football game. Steve, your thoughts on this one?
I think it's going to be dope. I want to see more of the details on how they're going to make it work, but I think it's really going to be nice, especially because you get a lot of guys that, for whatever reason, aren't getting NIL deals. Which, I mean, if you're a high profile college athlete, you're going to get them. But then there's still those middle of the road to bottom tier guys. I mean, if they're involved in the game in any way, I mean, pay them. You know, so
true. NCAA paid former chief legal officer $2.4 million severance in 2021. New tax records show. Q, your thoughts on this one?
That's a lot of money. That's a lot. That's a lot of money to be fighting against paying the product that's on the field. And especially for him being a lawyer that actually fought, those cases to try to keep the players unpaid. Like, that's a lot of money. Sounds like a racket.
I'm glad that we get to see these kind of deals. Taxes don't lie. You know what I'm saying? Some people try to hide them. Some people can't hide them, right? So taxes don't lie, and you get to see that $5.4 million could have went to a lot of athletes spread over. I mean, a couple $100 here, a couple $100 there. I mean, that goes a long way.
A lot of athletes, probably a lot of staff.
Right.
A lot could have happened with that, and they decided to put it in the hands of one person. It's crazy.
Crazy. Super crazy. Cardinals released star wide receiver D-Hop after 3 seasons. Steve, your thoughts on this one?
I'm glad we get a little time to talk about this. And I know Q's probably not going to like what I'm getting ready to say. But so D-Hop came out and said earlier this week that there were 5 QBs that he'd want to play with. Jalen Hurts with the Eagles is 1. Patrick Mahomes with the Chiefs is 2. Lamar Jackson with Baltimore. Justin Herbert with the Chargers, and also Josh Allen with the Buffalo Bills. However, when you look at all those teams, what don't those teams have that DeAndre Hopkins wants? Is money. All those teams don't have the money to be able to pay him the money that he would like to get paid. So, one, DeAndre Hopkins is going to have to understand, hey, if you want to go to those teams, if you just look at, let's say, throw a team out there, the Baltimore Ravens. They just got Zay Flowers from the draft. They also have OBJ. Where does that leave DeAndre Hopkins in that mix? Jalen Hurts with the Eagles. They have their receiving core. They don't have the money. Where does that leave them within that mix? Then you think about the Chiefs. The Chiefs, they're second to lowest on as far as cap space. I believe they have about $650,000 in available cap money. You think DeAndre Hopkins is going to come to Kansas City play for that? No. Then you look at Buffalo. They definitely don't have it. I mean, they're paying Stephon Diggs. They have some other guys they have to pay. Gabe, I can't remember his last name, but the other wide receiver. So they don't have it. And then the Chargers just drafted 2 wide receivers. So they don't have it. So where does that leave him? I just don't know. And then let's just say the Chiefs were thinking about him, which all Chiefs fans, Chiefs Kingdom wants to see DeAndre Hopkins come to Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you're gonna kill me, but I don't think he's still that. Like, he's played 18 games out of the last 2 seasons, 18 out of 34 games or something like that. I don't think he's still it. He was suspended for PEDs. Typically, when guys take PEDs, what is it? They're missing something.
Something's broken down.
Something's broken down, right? And that's just when he was caught. There's no telling how long he's been taking them.
And the effects on your body after you stop taking them.
Yeah, so he's on his way out of the league. He has fewer years in front of him than he does, or behind him than he does in front of him. So I don't know if that may be a right decision for Brett Veach and company coming to Kansas City. I just don't. That's just me.
I mean, you might not think that, but he's definitely a piece.
Okay.
I'm sure people didn't think OBJ was going to be serviceable.
And I may eat my words.
Injuries.
I just may.
Why not the same thing as the Sammy Watkins situation, to where it's at least somebody that you have to pay attention
Exactly.
to. It may not be necessarily the threat that it was, but it's worth something.
That's a good point. I agree.
No, I mean
100%.
that's the perfect point because Sammy Watkins was a lot more hobbled than DeAndre Hopkins. I think we just started seeing DeAndre Hopkins with these injuries, getting older, more lingering, not being able to play a lot of those games.
And I think DeAndre is is much older than Sammy was when Sammy came to the Chiefs, if I'm not mistaken.
Possibly, but DeAndre Hopkins is a guy that can catch the ball in space, in crowds, with people on his back. Like, that's a guy that you want on your team if you're a quarterback. You want somebody that's going to make the catch no matter what, taking a hit, whatever it is. And yes, he has that in Travis Kelce, but who else does he have that in?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to have to be a prove it year type deal.
Yeah. And I mean, MVS did well. But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You need somebody that can be like that cornerstone. I mean, MVS did well enough for the position that he was in. You know, he didn't blow minds.
There's some games he didn't show up. I was looking like, hey, where is Marquez Valdez-Scantling?
I mean, his first year in this system that you need at least 2 to learn it.
Yeah.
Yes, like, I give him that. But with the DeAndre Hopkins, I think that kind of eases some of the pressure off of him because who's the Chiefs' number 1 receiver?
Travis Kelce?
No, I mean actual
Travis Kelce
in the receiving room.
Travis Kelce.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, and knock on wood, but Travis has to remain healthy.
True.
For the team to keep, to have this success.
And I think you asked about the receiving room. I mean, you have MVS, you have Scott Moore, which I think he's going to take that next step this year. Confidence is going to go a long way from how he ended the season. And then you have a bunch of younger guys.
And that's what I'm saying. You have some
you
younger
got Tony,
guys.
You got Kadarius Toney, you got Richie James, you got a bunch of guys, but
you don't have a clear-cut number 1 is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's why I said Travis Kelce.
And it's gonna be tough to make those decisions. But for DeAndre Hopkins, I think this is a year, because I don't want to say a prove it deal, because I don't know how much longer he has after whatever deal he's searching for.
Okay.
But we could see he still wants to play. He still has that fire. And I think a team like the Chiefs is somewhere where he could come and thrive.
Okay.
And then he has somebody here that's an insider already and a former teammate with Justin Reed. So the probability that he comes here, I think, is a lot higher than any of those other teams. Philly, I think they're set.
Yeah.
I don't know if they fit him into their scheme.
But with the Chiefs, you got to make something. If you're gonna go that route, you got to free up some money. Let's just do a scenario. Start bench cut, Jazz. Chris Jones, DeAndre Hopkins. Throw another player in there. Let's just say.
I mean, it's gonna be a defensive player.
Okay. Chris Jones, DeAndre Hopkins, Willie Gay. Start bench cut.
Start Chris Jones.
Ooh.
Bench Willie Gay. Cut D-Hop.
Okay. That's all it
like
is.
That's the only logical answer.
Q, start bench cut. Chris Jones, Willie Gay, D-Hop.
I mean, I like Willie Gay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
he's gonna be on the field.
All right.
So and then cut. It had to be DeAndre Hopkins.
Okay. So we keeping Chris Jones. At least bench
I
him?
mean, yeah. You at least
All
bench him. That's a big, strong guy. I'm not saying DeAndre Hopkins is a dime a dozen.
Mm-hmm.
I like Willie Gay in this situation for his youth and for his production. Like
so y'all just answered my like what I was saying.
No,
Y'all agreed with it.
No, I give you that,
Yeah.
but I think the Chiefs get a little creative, especially when you look at the terms of what Patrick talked about this week.
He just did his $12 million. He just did a $12 million deal. I mean, where they had to incentivize him for $12 million.
So do
they
you
can't
think,
do anymore with him right now.
so do you think D-Hop wants to win or to get paid?
Oh, he wants to win. I mean, no question. And this would be a good stop. I think it's similar to what OBJ had in LA.
Yeah,
It's
was it like a $2 or $3 million deal with incentive based?
And that's what
I'm saying with Juju.
That's where I think we land with DeAndre. I think he's going to take a lower deal, have a lot higher incentives, but his incentives are going to be attainable in this passing league.
Yeah.
So,
and the thing about it is, and DeAndre is probably weighing this too. It's like kind of what Jazz said. Does he want the ring or does he want the bling with the
But
money?
if you win, you can get the both.
Yeah, it's true. And that's the thing. It's like, all right, I could go down here to Carolina and get the bag, but then I'd have to be the man day in and day out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's what
with a new QB, or go back to Houston with a new QB.
I'm not gonna say I think that's what he doesn't want, is to be the man in this situation.
Yeah.
Because yes, I think you want to play this 1 year. You want to see what happens here, but then you utilize that again as a step up for your next deal. And I think he's just trying to get his last deal and possibly trying to find his home for the foreseeable future. Because
I would say go back to Houston. Then
I think no.
Why not? You got a young QB.
No.
Okay, I'm right.
You going back to play for Bob Johnson after everything that happened, Steve? Let's not be stupid here.
I mean, hey, you want to, yeah.
But
if they offering the right amount of money, yes.
No.
If they throwing a bag,
no.
Yes.
No. I don't care who's there. You could have Jesus on your roster. if I gotta play for Bob Johnson, no.
On that note, we're going to take a quick break.
I'll be late for that.
Coming up, we will dive into our Hate It or Love It segment. Keep it locked in. This is the W Show. We'll be right back.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Come spin with us, Kansas City. KC We Spin 360 is the coolest 360 video spinner experience for events. KC We Spin 360 is taking it to the next level. The 360 video spinner platform rental will be the life of the party. Everyone will be talking about their 360 video experience while bragging about it on their social media pages. The captivating slow motion and reverse effects will have your guests feeling like celebrities. The KC We Spin 360 video spinner can capture slow-mo videos, GIFs, and boomerangs from every angle. Specializing in corporate events, weddings, social gatherings, bar bat mitzvahs, school events, and fundraisers, KC We Spin 360 can be found online at KCWeSpin360.com. Come spin with us, Kansas City.
FPS Security is here to secure Greater KC protection where you need them most. Social events, birthday parties, corporate events, weddings, small businesses, and more. Call FPS Security at 816-379-3600 or visit fpssecuritykc.com. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Reliable, fast, and professional service.
Football fans, you can't spell gate without Gates, and great tailgates start with Gates sauces and seasonings. Named synonymous with mouth-watering tailgates. When you make your list of tailgate essentials, add Gates sauces and seasonings to that list. Spice up your tailgate experience with that unmistakable great taste. Available in 4 tantalizing flavors: classic, sweet, mild, and hot. Find it at your local grocer, and if you don't see it, ask for it. Visit GatesBarbecue.com to purchase any of the great sauces and seasonings. Great tailgates start with Gates.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Remember to interact with our show. Use hashtag Talk About It. Message us, and we'll talk about whatever topic you want.
Yeah.
It's that time for Love It or Hate It.
Hate it.
If we love it, we talk about it. If we hate it, we move on.
Starting off our sneakers of the week, we have the Air Jordan 6 Retro Toros.
Fire.
I rock them. I'd rock them.
I like them.
Yeah.
Definitely like those.
The Jordan 14 Retro Laneys.
I like these. I had the lows back in when I was in 8th grade, maybe 9th grade.
Hate them.
Fire. These are fire. That suede, that blue suede. Whew.
I'll pass on those.
Supple leather. Okay.
My favorites this week, the Dunk Low SC Lotteries.
I like these.
These are cool.
I like that color.
I don't know if that's like a cream or is that white?
Probably.
It's like an off-white.
Yeah, it's like a little off-white.
I dig it. The Air Max 1 PRM Escape.
These are fire. I like them.
I'd pass on these.
I'm becoming more and more of an Air Max 1 dude. Like, I like Air Max 4s.
They're definitely classics, but
Just like
I don't
Roger
like that
said.
colorway.
Just like Roger
Yeah,
said, there's no
colorway.
misses this week. They all fire.
Yeah, the colorway. Just throw it in the trash.
Facts. There's no pop. I'm good. I'll pass on those. I'm
All
cute.
right.
Carl Malone sells Dream Team jerseys from all 12 Olympic players for mills. Hate it or love it.
First, my only question about this: how did Karl Malone get all of this, like the Olympic stuff? Like, I mean, I know he played on the Dream Team with these guys, but how did he end up with all the jerseys, like
everybody stuff?
And the forethought of like forward thinking of get these guys to sign it, and then it's gonna go for millions later on in life. Especially because you see Michael Jordan, he signed that, and normally like when guys don't just sign it and they personalize it, like he said, good luck, Carl, good luck, like, and it's still sold.
Yeah,
because I mean, I want to get a bunch of jerseys, but I know if I get guys to sign it, they're gonna say, put a personal message on there. You think they still sell?
I think it would.
Yeah,
depending on the player, I think
I
it would
would.
still sell.
If y'all listening, I ain't gonna sell y'all jerseys. I'm just saying, just a thought. You would.
Well, and it included game worn signed sneakers too. So it's like he was moving and grooving on.
If it was a Bron jersey, maybe I'll sell it.
Here he goes. Stop while you're ahead, Steve. Jets workout punter Matt Reza after San Diego State investigation found no wrongdoing. Hate it or love it.
I love this. I love the fact that he's able to be back into the league. Terrible situation. The league did their due diligence and then, made it happen.
No, yeah. Redemption story. I love it.
Love to see it. Stephen Curry wins Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Social Justice Champion Award. Hate it or love it.
I didn't know this was an award. I don't think I knew it was an award, I should say. I mean, kudos to him for that.
Yeah, Steph wins a lot of awards. Like you said, I didn't know that this was an award either. But I mean, it's worth it's worth it for him to get this because, of course, Steph is one of those faces of the league, and I've said this for a long time that, and I know y'all might not agree, but it's not Bron, it's not any of those guys, it's Steph. He's definitely the face of the league, and when I think about a face of a league, I think about who do kids want to be, who do kids want to play like, and it's Steph. every kid wants to have that number 30 Golden State jersey. They all want to shoot threes. And so I think Steph Curry is definitely the face of the NBA.
Agreed. Fair catches on NFL kickoffs to now be spotted at the 25-yard line. Hate it or love it.
I mean, everything the NFL comes up with, I hate it. I mean, they don't even put thought into it. I think they just throw things at a dartboard.
Hey, let's hear what Andy Reid had to say about it.
I don't know. We'll have to go through all that. My thing is, where does it stop, right? So you start taking pieces, and we'll see how this goes. But you don't want to take too many pieces away, or you'll be playing flag football.
Oh, Andy.
Steve, your thoughts?
I mean, I agree. Some things don't need to be changed. I get you want to keep players, the health and safety of players, but I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
You're not getting many returns anyway.
Yeah.
How much difference does it make?
Start on a 25-yard difference. It's I mean, it's really a big difference. I mean, when you look at the analytics of it, teams are starting much closer to the being able to score. So
on the analytics side, but I'm saying as to player safety, how much difference does it make in safety measures?
Yeah,
I don't think there's any difference. Yeah.
Trademark application for Washington Commanders denied by USPTO. Hate it or love it.
I want to hear Q's thoughts on this.
I mean, no, I hate it, I guess.
Nah, man, but it's crazy though that the guy that the reason why the trademark can't go through because when they were in search of a new name, they announced it. A guy in DC was like, "No, I'm just gonna, get file trademarks for a bunch of different names." And whatever name that he used had Commander in it, Washington Commander something, and now they can't get. So I would just say, y'all can buy my trademark, my rights to my trademark, and just pay me handsomely if y'all want to continue to use this name. Should they do it?
And I said hate it, I meant love it, because if I'm that guy, gotcha.
If you're owner of a company, which you are, how much would if you went to try to get Fifth Ave trademarked and somebody else owns it, how much is it worth to you? After you've been putting it out there and using the brand,
I'd come up with something else.
Would you? Okay.
All right, interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's
just like that.
That's the confidence I have in myself.
Just like that.
Yeah. Some business people don't have a creative brain.
Yeah.
So clearly Commanders is
okay.
Right, fair enough. Will Ferrell in talks to star as John Madden in upcoming film Madden. Hate it or love it.
Will Ferrell?
Yeah.
I don't know. He's funny, but I don't.
You never know.
Yeah, I gotta see it.
Yeah, I gotta see it. I don't know if I'm interested in seeing a John Madden movie.
Yeah.
True. Charles Barkley was annoyed by LeBron James's retirement comments.
Barkley always he's the get off my line, dude. He really is. Get off my line.
He's trash.
As he should.
Yeah, we want to thank everyone who watched and hung out with us, messaged us on our live stream. So if you're watching, remember you can also listen to us on 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, vice versa. If you're listening in your car, hanging out with your family at the barbecue, hit us up. We might come through. The W Show Crash at Barbecue on Memorial Day weekend.
I'll grab a plate.
Most definitely. Until next week, we are out of here. Peace.
The views and opinions expressed on the W Radio Show by the host, co-host, guests, and call-in listeners are solely the opinions and responsibility of the original source who expressed them. They do not represent the opinions of the W Show, 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, Sideline Sports Talk, Team Wall Street Foundations, or affiliates.